Most creators waste months trying to find their niche. They spend months thinking, what should I talk about? What topics should I choose? What helps me grow the fastest? And ironically, that's exactly why most people don't start creating at all. Because here's the reality. You don't find your niche by thinking. You find your niche by paying attention. And for most people, your niche is right in front of you. You're just ignoring it. In this video, I'll show you a simple way how to identify your niche without overthinking it. Based on what I've seen from building my own content and from other people, whether it's creators, entrepreneurs, or other people that I've hosted on my podcast. The biggest mistake that people make when trying to find their niche is this. They treat it like a strategic decision. They sit down and ask questions like, what niche is trending? What niche grows the fastest? What niche should I enter? But that's the wrong way how to approach it. Because niche doesn't come from strategy. They come from experience. Because the creators who grow the fastest are usually talking about the things that they already understood deeply. Not things they researched last week, things they seen online that they are trending, but things that they've actually lived. And that's what makes their content feel real.
Obviously, I do invest quite a lot of time and energy into creating high quality content. I think that's the most important aspect of LinkedIn, because you could grow and do very well without doing all the tedious engagement work, just through good content, like authentic, unique content. So I think that's the most important thing. But then also it's building relationships with people in the DMs and the comments. Because I think a secret that I follow is I reply to every single one of my DMs, no matter who you are and what you say. Even some people just say, hey, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm good, man. How are you? And I know other creators would ignore that because it's not like a lead, and they treat it very much as like a business platform, which it is, LinkedIn, but it's also a social media platform. So I think it's very important to be social and just to build relationships with people, no matter who they are, to be honest.
Most people are already sitting on their niche. They just don't recognize it. And here's a simple way how to see it. Pay attention to the conversations that you have in real life. Ask yourself, what do people ask me about the most? What do people come to me for advice on? What do I naturally explain to others? That's usually where your niche begins. It's not something you invent. It's something you notice.
Because when you're looking to succeed on LinkedIn, not only you want to build that connection and build trust with an audience and demonstrate how good you are and demonstrate a lot of things. Like if you want somebody to go from, I don't know you to, I want to work with you, there are a lot of emotional conclusions that you need to trigger and a lot of things that you need to demonstrate to be true. And by the way, I think that's the most important skill to have nowadays is to turn somebody into a stranger, from a stranger to somebody that trusts you in weeks, not months or years. So the speed in which somebody goes from stranger to somebody that trusts you.
Let me give you an example from my own journey. When I started, I thought that I needed a complicated niche, something strategic, something clever. But the content that resonated the most was actually the content that I was already deeply involved in. Podcasting, content creation, building personal brand. Those were the things that I was involved in every day. And once I leaned into those, everything became clearer. People understood what I was talking about and why they should follow me.
So first, of course, there is no secret. That's really the first part of the answer. Second part of the answer is you need a strong content strategy, because the end goal of LinkedIn is to build a positioning. The positioning, it means that your brand or your personal brand occupies a specific place in the mind of your customers and of your audience. So that's the end goal. And to do this, you cannot just open your laptop, write anything and close your laptop. You need to have a content strategy with content pillars that will build your zone of messaging. So people will attach your name to an expertise and they will attach an expertise to your name. So next time they need an information about this expertise, they will think about you.
Another mistake is that people think that niche is just a topic, but it's not just what you're talking about. It's also who you are speaking to and what problems you help them to solve. For example, if someone says, I talk about business, that's vague. But if someone says, I help creators turn their podcasts into content, now it's clear. Now you immediately understand who it's for and what problems it helps to solve. That's what a niche actually looks like. Niche becomes clear when three things align: what you know, what you care about, who you are speaking to.
If you read it aloud and it don't sound how what you would usually said, you say there's a problem. It should be when we say natural. It's like when you speak, it should look like how you write, and so there's this problem of coherence between people who have now a post like are really great, and when they speak, it's not them at all. So this,
Yeah.
And in comments, it's really sometimes it's really obvious. You're like, but that's their, I would say it's their problem at the moment. They will see if they don't get customers. Maybe they will need to change, not to do a mass of comments, fake comments, but maybe start to put something more related to their expertise.
If you're still unsure about your niche, here's a simple way how to figure it out. I call it 3-step niche test. You can literally write it down. Step 1, experience. Write down 3 things that you actually understand thanks to your experience. Not the things that you just research, but the things that you've actually done. Step 2, create content about those 3 topics and post about it for a few weeks. Pay attention to what people respond to, what sparks conversations, and what people message you about. Step 3, double down. Once you see what resonates, focus on that topic. That's where your niche begins to emerge. Not from guessing, but from real feedback.
I always like leaving people with this one thought that you have more control than you think you do. This is applicable for anything. Of course, your life in general, your decisions, your career, but of course, specifically to your confidence. A lot of people come to me and say, Nausheen, I'm an introvert. I just will never be able to speak like an extrovert on stage. Or, Nausheen, I've always been so scared of speaking on stage, I will never do it. I've literally had people who come to me who are in their 50s or 60s and they say, Nausheen, I was so nervous about speaking on stage that I told my boss when I was in my 20s, I will never speak on stage. And yes, it affected my career, but that's how I lived my life. And it's really saddening to hear because confidence is a skill you can absolutely learn. You are not born confident, you learn it.
Most creators don't fail because they choose the wrong niche. They fail because they never start. They stay stuck in the research mode. They try to find a perfect niche, they try to find perfect strategy, they try to find perfect positioning. But clarity rarely comes from thinking. It comes from actually doing. Most people don't need help finding a niche. They need to stop avoiding commitment. Because once you start consistently speaking about something, your niche becomes obvious very quickly. The purpose of the niche isn't to limit you. It's to make it easier for people to understand you. When someone sees your content, they should immediately know what you talk about, who you help, why they should follow you. That clarity builds trust. And once people know what you're about, following you becomes obvious next step. If you want practical breakdowns on podcasting, personal branding, content creation, not just vague advice online, that's what this channel is about. Each week, I share lessons from building content and conversations from my podcast Produced By, where I have conversations with creators, founders, entrepreneurs, and other people building interesting things online. If that sounds useful to you, subscribe to the channel. And if you want deeper conversations on content creation, personal growth, branding, and other interesting topics, check out the podcast as well. I'll see you in the next video.